arriving on site during expedition. I'm not there, any tourist. First comes up, setting up a workstation. Computer apps open. Google Earth, Google Maps, other navigational devices and informations. Comes out next, pen and paper, always important field notes from the very day. I'll need those later. Then the tape measure. Upon the apps, solar maps, dated back to their day, turning back the night sky, allowing, for me, one more window to see through, turning back the sky, turning back time, seeing through their eyes.
What do you say?
On my mind, not dwelling upon it. There's many looked here, many of the great granddaddies of Egyptology, many of the popular ones in our modern day, all seeing only the same. Not much of anything, really. Time flies. Important to know. Abu Ghurab, no different than the Bambara Sacred Forest in Australia, is a sacred traditional place. Standing there, holding balance, and a wise elder, creating the environment for positive outcomes to exist in. Susan, full moon rising, gracing us on this day. Text anywhere, anytime. Always a wonderful opportunity for a window into seeing what it was that those ancestors wanted us to see. Seeing that one there, a cartouche, one that we can easily look up upon the King's List today. The Abydos King's List proving the most accurate. There's a time of Nyserre seen there. Ruler number 6 of the 5th dynasty. Leading us all to understand number 30, Nyserre, in the King's List, as he there, a one, having a great influence into the Abdu Ghurab Sun Temple. Attested to Nyserre, seeing his name there, looking the same. Sun's going down. It'll be hard riding that horse back through the desert from here. Any more of these things? Come on, Cole, go. Passing that one again, suddenly alarm bells ring out. Prior learning tells me that's a Horus name. Nyserre. That was a throne name. Something's going on. A Horus name can't possibly be a throne name as well. Something going on there. Come on, talk to me. Talk to me. Look at that inside wall. Outside wall. Good example of the way it doesn't matter on the back. And you have to finish. My deep focus on text interrupted for the moment as I see the same rough side, smooth side employed elsewhere in the land about me. There. We might call that one stone art graffiti. As I'm walking about, my concentration is constantly being hindered. This one just keeps coming back. The first one I seen. Standing there looking at this, I've realised there's something there. everybody missed. Knowing before me the great granddaddies of Egyptology stood in this same place, looked at this same artefact, each attested for themselves the same thing. Ruler number 6, 5th dynasty, Nyserre. Should those, my peers, be wrong? Well, can't blame them. Looks exactly the same. Fooled me too for what was perhaps 30 seconds, till I noticed there, that's a Horus name, not any title of a throne name. Something's just not right. Learning some more of Abu Gharaib so we can all understand. Taking from Wikipedia, Abu Gharaib is a locality in Egypt situated around 9 kilometres south of Cairo, between Saqqara and Al-Jaiz, about 1 kilometre north of Abu Sur on the edge of the desert on the western bank of the Nile. The locality is best known for the solar temple of King Nyserre, the largest and best preserved solar temple, as well as that of the solar temple of Uskara, both built in the 25th century BCE. During the Old Kingdom period, evidence suggests that as many as 6 solar temples were constructed during the 5th dynasty. However, the 2 temples previously mentioned been excavated. Abu Gharaib is also the site of early dynastic burial ground dating to the 1st dynasty, indicating previous activity there before these 5th and 6th dynasty builders. My suspicion has now been aroused. I start to look about the land for other evidences of this late 5th and 6th dynasty intrusion there into Abu Gharaib. But I'm not seeing any. Seeing the stone, the same stone used around instead the 4th dynasty builds of the Khafre temple and the Khafre pyramid. The same red granite used there, used here. Evidence not supporting what it was my peers were telling me. As Thothmes Menkuri Djebfor once said, the keys they left within the images upon the walls. Suspicions aroused, it's back to the computers. What it is that I'm seeing in my eyes, his throne name, King Nyserre, seen there. Finding out, indeed, his Horus name is another. Horus, the favourite of the 2 lands. This is the Horus name of King Nyserre, 5th ruler of the 6th dynasty. This, as a Horus name, not ever been written in correct protocol to mean a throne name at all. This is somebody else. Any mention of Abu Gharaib brings with it mention too of Nyserre and Yusakaf, along with one more in Zahora. It takes looking to all 3 to broaden the margin to consider from. Names we just read of there, what's known, taking those into that night's research there on a rooftop overlooking the Giza plateau. The cold night breeze of the Sahara coming over the sands and through the plateau and past the great mistress and fresh upon my cheeks as I look out into the dark upon the Sahara. Taking with me into that night's research those names of Nyserre, Yusakaf and Zahora into consideration. Being attested there as builders of the sun temples, or were they? Arriving there in Egypt, already a full book of goals to complete, already busy, my hands so very full, tracking not just people, but a story too, the story of Bambara being told there, from Australia into Egypt, learning more of Khufu, Meritites and Netson, rereading the text around the Giza plateau, understanding now who was really who, Uncaf, forming greatly in those
of the Jedfrey Ratosis, learned of there in faraway Australia upon the walls of the sacred Bambara. Tasked with rereading the great many texts and symbols used about the Giza plateau, birthing new life into those once been forgot. In Khufu, and
the Honourable Uncaf, husband of the ruler Khufu, reaching out to the universe, sometimes it'll come to you in a synchronicity or a strike of luck, and arriving there that day, no one around, landed on a public holiday, they'd all gone home. Looking about, this place was only dug out in the last days. I was the first to enter. Lucky was I that day. A friendly guard, realising I was there working for his sovereign people, making me welcome. For me, it's all in the tiny details. The images are left upon the walls, holding the key. You need to use that key before one enters, before one honors, listens there in that place. The keys are within the images upon the walls. All starts there. And from there, the land opens up. And it did. Searching there, the tombs of fourth dynasties.
to be found there, the three boys, Giza Arig on the left, Sahura and Kaku Neferkari.
Mentioned as in the Westcar Papyrus. Found by Colin Hayter on this day, there in Mastaba G7110, Giza.
The Mastaba of Didi.
All three boys mentioned there in the Westcar Papyrus. Here they are, 50 years before known history's same
use of their name, used as kings' names, leaving the red there, marked in yellow, as Sahura, Usari, and Neferkari far into the future. Forgotten by history, forgotten by all but one. The Horus names of the children of Khufu and Anka, and misleading all that ever looked to Abu Ghraib, seeing instead 5th and 6th dynasty kings, later carrying those same names. The birth names of Kabor as Nyserre, as Khafre as Sahura, as Menkaure as Neferkari. Their works attested to later kings, lost among the ruins to the sands of time.
To ever start and begin understanding an early Old Egypt, it would take first knowing again who it was Uncaf and Khufu
and their children were.